Welcome to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm Woody Zimmerman here with Mark Skabowski of Remax Lakes, and welcome back. You just got back from a huge accomplishment.
So we ran a marathon.
A marathon in D.C.
In D.C., the Marine Corps Marathon. It was the 49th annual. So I don't know if I'll run the 50th or not. Afterwards, you start going, I don't know. Well, I run another one, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But,
I'm sure the very scenic. I was just in D.C. It was like a year ago, and walked the mall.
Yeah.
And I just walked.
Yeah.
That's all I did.
Yeah.
But walked the mall and just took in some of the sights and so forth, like the Jefferson Memorial, and seeing the White House and the Capitol and all that. It's just it's very, very beautiful now.
It is, and this time of year, it was pretty. I mean, some of the colors were changing.
Yeah.
So where it starts off, you start about the Pentagon, and then you run across on that side of the river. Pentagon's across the river from D.C., but you ran some in the countryside. I mean, it's hilly. It's surprising. We're flatlanders here in Indiana.
Yeah, right.
But the first 4 miles are a lot of hills, so that's definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
To get motivated and get going. But did run, right past the Washington Monument, down the mall, right next to the Capitol. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Which anybody that's never been to D.C., right in front of the Capitol, you can get there. I mean, there's a parking lot right in front of it, so all the pictures and stuff, you can get out there and get close and get pictures. And whether you agree with everything that happens there or not, it's still our nation's capital, so it's pretty cool to get there and see what it looks like.
Yeah.
See what's there and experience it and all of those things. So,
yeah, very cool. Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
That's
Thank
a huge
you.
accomplishment for sure.
Yep.
I could barely run a mile, so I mean.
well, we finished. So my daughter and I did it together. Again,
Yeah.
we weren't setting the world on fire, but again, just try to get it done, and we did. So,
All right.
and I'm not hurting today. I don't have blisters. I don't have a lot of stuff. I'm in recovery mode.
Yeah.
I don't know when I'll start running again, but it'll be soon.
Yeah,
so.
that's awesome. And then earlier this week, man, talk about some unseasonable temperatures. It's been so nice.
Yeah, I mean, we're almost 80 again,
Yeah.
right? On what, Tuesday?
Yeah.
We're almost 80 degrees.
Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, right.
I mean, I was cleaning, doing leaves because they're coming down.
Oh,
it's
they
that
are.
time of year.
It was,
and
windy on Tuesday.
sweating, but I was out there in shorts doing leaves.
I know.
That's
It's
not
very
a bad
nice.
thing. I'll take it.
Very nice. I'm sure that just makes the housing market, not slow down because people are out and about, they're doing things, and they're looking at homes and so forth, and so because I know a couple weeks ago we were talking about that week that is when most of the home or whatever, it's like the highest week
The highest
of home
activity level or something
activity.
like that.
Yeah, and it was a couple of weeks ago, so it's like right before temperatures start to drop.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, interest rates have bumped back up, and that's impacting the buy side. It is. We're back around 7%. Not too long ago we were 6 1/8, 6 3/8.
Okay, but
6 1/2. I know the Fed dropped rates. Why?
yeah, because they do that to
Why?
slow down inflation, but I thought inflation was slowing, so I thought they were still going to drop rates and keep the housing market booming.
I don't know why banks are adjusting, doing what they're doing, other than my perception is, or my thought is, that it's margins, right? If they want to get busier, they cut their rates. If they want to stay a little bit slower, they keep it.
Right.
Higher margin if they're selling at a higher interest rate. Could be totally off base on that, but every bank sets their rates. So they're not dictated just because the Fed did what they did.
Correct.
But unfortunately, rates are around 7% again. Now, they're still good in the grand scheme of things, but we're not talking 5s, we're talking 7s.
Yeah.
So, and if you remember, at the beginning of the year, we thought we'd settle between 6 and 7. Well, guess what? We're at the high end of that. Now, will it change after the election? Who knows? Will it change, due to economic conditions? Who knows? But right now, a 30-year fixed rate, good credit, is about 7%. So, does that lead to a slowdown? I think it's going to impact the time that homes are sitting on the market.
Yeah.
So, when people get ready to sell, hey, I'm thinking about selling. Should I sell right now? Or how long will it take me to sell my house?
That's a big question.
So there's 2 questions that usually come up. How much am I going to get?
Yeah.
And
How long will it
meaning
take?
what list price and how long will it take to sell?
Yeah.
So list price is individual, right? But how long will it take? Well, the national average got this pretty little chart from that Realtor.com put together.
Okay.
Homes are still selling faster than in pre-pandemic years. So right now, as of 2024, the average days on market, again, this is national. We're going to get to some local stuff, but nationally it's 55 days on the market for solds.
Okay. That's not bad at all.
Not terrible. In 2019, it was 62 days. In 20, it was 50 days. That's when the pandemic started, right? In 20, and when we started the beginning of the year, by about March, we were all like,
yeah.
The executive orders came out, you
Right.
know, things were shutting down, whatever, and still the market took off.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 21, it bottomed out nationally at 41 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we've gone from 41 days in the best period in 21 nationally to 55 days on the market.
And we're talking about you put a sign in the front yard to like closing.
When it goes technically pending is what
pending.
these count.
Okay.
We always say when it's sold, and typically pending is sold.
Is sold. Okay.
It's a fine point, but when we mark it in the system as pending, and then it's sold.
Okay.
So, but typically they go pending. They were going pending in a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
Sold took a little bit longer, but on average in the pandemic around here we were 20 days.
Mm-hmm.
We were
Yeah,
days
that
on
was-
market 20 days.
Yeah, that was
before they had
amazing.
accepted offers, and many of them were the same day.
Yeah.
And after the break, we can talk a little bit more about local stuff, year-over-year comparisons, what prices have done, and things like that.
All right, sounds good. You're listening to Real Estate in Real Time. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're listening to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm Woody Zimmerman here with Mark Skabowski of Remax Lakes, and we're talking about on a national level how long it takes to sell your property.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you're going to sell, how long is it going to take me? What am I going to net?
Yeah.
Those are the two biggest questions.
Sure.
Well, today we're going to talk about how long is it going to take me historically,
Mm-hmm.
but some of that is going to tie in locally.
Yeah.
To things that are meaningful to folks who are considering putting on. Last couple of shows we've talked about inventories increasing, so for buyers,
It is,
they've
yeah.
got better options.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more negotiation. We've also talked about, hey, there have been more price reductions that people have made. So, you got the folks on the sidelines going, I'm rubbing my hands together like, aha, now's the time, market's dropping, I'm going to be able to jump in and take advantage of it. Well, the numbers we're going to talk about today historically aren't going to show exactly that.
Yeah.
So, we just talked about before the break, the average days on market being 55 days nationally. So for Kosciuszko County, the average days on market for solds, and I got to put my glasses on for this, is 40 days on market for sold properties in Kosciuszko County.
That's really good.
So we're beating the national average.
Yeah.
That's faster than the national average. Now, one thing, and we'll talk about individual zip codes. So Warsaw proper or 46580, 46567 or 46567. So Syracuse.
Yeah.
But the active listings are really a more indicator and better indication of what's going on today. So the number of active listings, the days on market for those active listings in the county is 77. Right? So days on market sold nationally 55, days on market sold for the county 40, but the active listings, so there are more listings on the market. 248. Remember when we were talking about 30 and 40 listings available?
Yeah.
248 listings available, but the average number of days on the market is 77. So if we look at that 3-bedroom, which is kind of the sweet spot, the bread and butter for our county, 77 days on market, average list price of $360,000. That takes into account the whole county. So Warsaw, Syracuse. So you got lake stuff in there that kind of skewing this data.
Right.
So if we look at Warsaw proper, so 46580, the average days on market, 69 days. That's active listings.
Okay.
Average days on market, 69 days. 3-bedroom, average days on market, 57 days.
It's right.
So
pretty much right in line with the
we're
national.
pretty much in line.
Yeah.
So now that's active listings. Let's go to solds. In Warsaw proper, so 46580, the average days on market for sold is 35.
Yeah,
So it's still turning
they're
pretty quickly.
Yeah, they're selling fast.
Still turning pretty quickly. And this is the bargain hunters, right? This is the bane of their existence. The sale price to list price is still only about 1.5% off a list price.
Right.
So if you list for 100, it's selling for 98.5.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still close to that. So that you're not seeing 10% off. You're just not.
No.
So a 3-bedroom in Warsaw, the largest number sold, average days on market 34, and sold at 99% of list price. So 1% off a list price.
Yeah.
So home buyers you're not going to get a steal. They're still priced. Now, we've also talked about there have been price reductions. People reduce. Ultimately, that prompts a sale. That plays into this as far as what that percentage is. Not what they started at, it's what they finished list price at.
Right.
So Syracuse, average days on market for active listings is 91 days.
Okay. Now
Right?
that's different because lake properties, it's not always your primary home.
It's not always a primary home, and they tend to, hey, I don't really have to sell. I'm going to list it at a higher price and see what happens. But, within the Syracuse market, there are standard residential, which this does skew that a little bit. But I would say lake homes are a big part of what happens in that marketplace. So as far as solds go, in Syracuse, days on market, 43 days. The sale to list ratio, though, is about 5.5%, almost 6% off a list price. So if you're looking to buy a lake home, keep that in mind. Hey, there's probably 5 to 10% worth of wiggle room.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the same in the Warsaw marketplace. So the 3-bedroom lake homes, 32 days on market. So those smaller lake homes are still selling very quickly.
Yes.
Okay. So, and then I guess the last thing is just talk a little bit about price. People were, hey, prices are going to drop. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. Overall, the real estate market in Kosciuszko County is pretty healthy.
Yeah.
We're up 9% year over year as far as numbers sold.
Wow.
As far as volume sold, up 13%, meaning there have been a few big ones in there.
Yeah.
But the average sales price is up 4% year over year.
Which is pretty
Almost
similar
back to normal.
Yeah, back to normal.
Almost back to normal. Remember, we were talking years 15 and 20%.
Right.
We're back to 4%. The biggest change there is inventory is up 14% year over year.
Okay, so that helps.
That helps.
There's
more options.
Yeah, there's more options.
You got it.
Wow.
So overall, we're very healthy in the Warsaw market and in the Kosciuszko County real estate market.
Yeah, and you have said since day one, real estate is local.
Yeah.
Real estate is local. Yeah, our numbers do mimic the national numbers, but they are different.
They're different and a little better than what the national. It depends on which side you're on.
Right.
If you're a buyer or a seller, they're a little bit better.
And that's where I think an agent earns their money big time is with the information just like this because you really know the market. So, all right, if you'd like to continue this conversation with Mark, make sure you reach out. Mark, your contact info.
Sure. The website skabowskiteam.com. Phone numbers 574-527-0660. You can always email me, mark@skabowskiteam.com.
All right, very good. You've been listening to Real Estate in Real Time. Have yourself a wonderful weekend.